All right, today we're gabbing with Andy Herren, winner of Big Brother 15, all about the Traitors season 3 so far. Andy is a great Twitter follow. He has such good commentary on all things reality TV, and he comes from the competition's perspective. So I always love to have that sort of meeting of the mind. So Andy, thanks for being here. How's it going?
It is going so great. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and to talk about this episode.
Um, Overall thoughts on this season of the Traitors so far? We're less than halfway through,
Yeah.
but the feelings are out there. So I want to know what you think.
I mean, I'm gonna always love the Traitors just because
Me
it
too.
gives us like Danielle Reyes, who is the reason I got into Big Brother, and Boston Rob, who like annoys me, but is like such a huge name in strategy, sitting there like against Tom Sandoval and like Britney Spears' ex, which is just absurd. And so I think that's always just going to make for very fun TV. I mean, I genuinely think I don't get as excited for any other reality TV as I do for the Traitors. I think it is like I wake up on Thursday mornings like genuinely
Yeah,
excited
I'm
about
with
it.
you.
And truly, it is all due to the casting. I mean, I love the show. I think that the actual like rules of the game and the game itself has a lot of problems, but also I just don't really care because I think that the casting is so fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Have you seen the UK versions and the
So,
Australian version?
okay, I was just talking to a friend about this. I have seen Australia, the first season of Australia, and I have definitely seen one season of UK, but I truly could not even tell you who won either one of
Right. No,
those.
yeah. Yeah. But
Um,
I think I asked because it's sort of like I'm curious if when you watch the versions without famous people, without previously known personalities, if
yeah,
like if the the rules of the game annoy you more there because the casting can't like
absolutely.
distract you. You know what I mean?
Yes. And it's just like I mean, like I said, I've watched two full non-celebrity US seasons of The Traitors, and I truly cannot tell you anything about them. Whereas like I vividly remember so many moments from US season one and especially US
Right.
season two.
Of course. Okay. Um, So, okay, I guess we'll get into. I want to come back on the rules that you would change because I'm curious what those are.
Sure.
But maybe let's start with this most recent episode where a traitor got out, where Bob the
Yeah.
drag queen was found out. There was like, I guess Boston Rob sort of like he took a lot of the credit for it, and I guess he did like wrangle people together, but he wasn't the first person really on that scent. That was Dylan, I think.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. What did you make of how Boston Rob carried himself? Because obviously you said he sort of is why you got into this space, but also you did tweet that you've been a vocal
Oh
Boston
yeah.
Rob hater for over 20 years and you'll never stop.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you think of how he's been carrying himself,
I mean,
particularly in last episode.
yes, I just really think that Boston Rob is overhyped in like the
Got it.
CBS reality sphere. Like he's regarded as one of the best to ever play with like Sandra Diaz Twine, who was on the last season of The Traitors, and Sandra won her first two times that she played Survivor, and Boston Rob basically had to be handed a win the fourth time he played.
You're
And like
right.
my other example of like how these shows treat him, and I think he has gotten special treatment on this season of The Traitors, but it's like when he was on Survivor Winners at War, for example, they all like when someone got voted out, they went to this place called the Edge of
Yeah,
Extinction where they
I
could
watched
like,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what like before Boston Rob got voted out, I remember Ethan like almost died going on like a day-long excursion to get one fire token. And then when Boston Rob gets voted out, they like threw five fire tokens at the top of a hill and he was like, I got four of them. And it's just like that is the perfect example. One player has to like almost kill himself to get one, and production just gives Boston Rob four. And the same with this season. It's like he got 2 weeks of immunity. He got to go
Yeah.
straight into being a traitor. It's just like I think that I mean, and I don't get me wrong, I do think that he made for good TV in this episode, but also like it's annoying to me that he got like this kind of like really special placement in the show, and because of that we lost Bob the drag queen, who is like one of my favorites. And so just like as and it's just funny, it was like Boston Rob is one of my least favorite Survivor players, and Bob the drag queen is arguably my favorite drag race winner. And so
So it
just
was a matchup of yeah.
watching Boston Rob take out Bob the drag queen, I was like, I'm sick like watching
Yeah,
this happen.
that's tough.
It was my worst nightmare coming true.
Oh my
So
God. Yeah, yeah, I felt the same way about Rob in terms of like he comes in basically like an episode late,
yes.
he yeah, and like I'm also just sort of like especially last season is when I watched it and I was like, okay, if you're I kept on thinking like if I was a producer of the show, if I was choosing the traitors, if I was like Parvati would be such an obvious
Right.
choice, right? Like Boston Rob, same thing for me. I'm like, they have to know that either Boston Rob or like one of those three people who came in is going to be a traitor. And I guess that they're
Right.
still, we've seen some hints that like they are sort of on that trail. But it's just sort of like, it almost makes you think that like he joined on like the like in his contract was like he has to be a traitor. That's the only reason why he
Right.
wanted to
Right. Well,
join.
it's just like I said, I've now spent 20 years of my life just being forced to watch season after season of this man. And like I thought I was free of it this time and just like, oh God. And
Yeah.
like yeah, I thought I was free of it. And then him just coming in and like getting his way. And now, I mean, I still think our savior, I think in all of this is going to potentially be Danielle Reyes, who I think will like
Okay.
hopefully get his ass. But it was
She'll
very
she'll
hard.
she'll
Yeah.
avenge Bob, you think? She'll
Yes.
avenge Bob.
And
Do
Carolyn too.
you
I'm not slighting
yeah.
Carolyn, but it's
No.
like I think
But
I think yeah.
they're setting Danielle up to have those feelings. And she
Yes.
kept on saying, I'm not going to go against Bob. And then she went against Bob. Do you think that do you think the traitors turned on each other too soon?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think that especially for Boston Rob, I think that this was too soon. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
don't think that he will last much longer. I really don't.
Okay. So that he your pick for the next traitor to
Yes.
be okay. And yeah, I kind of feel like Carolyn has the most staying power in terms of this first group of traitors
I
because I just feel
agree.
like they're not onto her. She's so kooky that like she's hard to pin down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're not going to suspect her. Yeah. Who would you recruit if you were a traitor right now?
Brittany. I mean I'm such a Brittany stan.
I
And
love
it's like
her.
Brittany is also like so I stand by and truly Danielle is the reason I got into Big Brother.
Yeah,
I
she's a
love her
legend.
so she is the reason I got into Big Brother and Brittany is like my favorite Big Brother player. So we are talking about like the Big Brother casting this season sans Derek was like perfect in my opinion and so I'm not slighting Danielle in any way, but I think they messed up by making Danielle a traitor over Brittany. I think Brittany would have been a
I
much
agree.
less assuming traitor. And I think her confessionals are so funny. I think we have not gotten a lot from her yet. And I think if she were a traitor, we would be getting many a funny confessional from her. And so I am hoping that maybe down the line she gets recruited. Because here's the thing, they are still showing her, and it's like
She's getting good at it.
I think she is going to. She's been a little not as present as I would like her to be, but I think that she's going to last a while, and I think that like we will get more of her later.
I
And
agree.
I think it would be really fun if she gets recruited. And I also just think that not a lot of people would suspect or like pin her down for being one.
Yeah. Also, like if they suspect Danielle, which some of them do, and if
Right.
they know their history,
Right.
them being a duo together would be an unexpected thing, and
Yeah.
it would be a smart move from that
Yeah.
perspective too for
I think
Danielle.
I think Chriselle could be another good one. I know that
Yeah.
Chriselle is like a student of these games, and so I think she knows all these people quite well. And she seems like she like has some strategic prowess to her. I mean, truly half the cast is incapable of being a traitor. And so like much love to like Robin, much love to Tom Sandoval, much love to Sam. It's just like they don't have it in them to be a traitor, I don't think.
In what
Um,
way? In what way?
just
Like
like
they're not savage enough?
truly and just they cannot read anyone to save their life and I think that they would just I think they would be extremely obvious if they were chosen. Does that make sense? And like
Yeah.
this is like I don't like Tom Sandoval and I actually really do love Robin, but it's like I
Right.
just don't like
They're wrong every time.
Robin could not be more wrong every time. And like I
Somebody
said, I
like it.
think
Somebody likened Robin to Larsa from last season. Where like really
yes,
outspoken, like really
yes.
assertive, but just like not getting it right,
Totally.
and it's great
Couldn't
TV. Yeah.
and just like it's like, oh, here's the most obvious and so obvious it's bad reason why someone's a traitor. And Robin is always like, yep, that's it. And it's like, oh girl, no. Like, yeah.
You mentioned Derek, who is a Big Brother winner, and I watched Big Brother. I've been watching it since the beginning, but I'm not as like familiar with the lore from like
Sure.
fans. And can you explain why you don't like Derek or why people don't like Derek? Because I don't understand. I don't know why.
I just think that Derek is supremely boring.
Okay.
On Derek's season, Derek is supremely boring and loves to work with men. And it's just like, for example, he had two friends in Brittany and Danielle that he knew that he could have given a shield to, and
And he
instead he
didn't.
gave the shield to like the straight white man who he doesn't know. On
Right.
his season of Big Brother, if he ran the season, if you were a woman with an opinion, you were out immediately. I just like I said, he gives me the ick, and he always has. And yeah, I don't think he is as smooth and as smart. Like he gets credit for being like one of the best to ever play, and I just think he played with a pretty weak cast. And I think that like I just don't think he is as good as the hype. And I am hoping, and it's seeming like he might prove me right on this season because his reads have been bad. So we will see. But I have just always thought that
Yeah.
Derek is a really bad combination of boring and not as good as people think that he is.
Well, you retweeted Eliza from Survivor. She said it completely tracks the cop as the absolute worst of this game, accusing someone of saying they constantly use profanity to sell emotion and then has the wrong suspect.
Right.
It's
Like,
just like,
yeah,
it's also, I'm curious what you think about this because, obviously, like you said, he's sort of like this really celebrated figure in the Big Brother community, and he's like one of the best to ever do it. That's what people say. But then you go on a show like Traitors, it's kind of like Dan from last season. It's sort of like, does it risk your legacy a little bit to like
sure.
have a really bad showing on a show like this,
I
or does it
mean,
not?
like, I selfishly, like, don't get me wrong, I like Dan much more than I like Derek, but I also think that Dan is a little bit overrated. I think that Dan's theatrics are extremely overrated. Like, what Dan did on The Traitors, where like everybody saw right through him, is the type of shit that he did on Big Brother. And
Yeah,
I always said, if I had been in Dan's cast, I would have been like, are you kidding me? Like, absolutely
it's
not.
just distraction. Yeah,
Right. And so it's kind of fun for me. Like I'm about to toot my own horn a little bit here. I think I played a very good Big Brother game, and I'm not looked at by the fans as anywhere near the league of a Dan or a Derek, even though I think I'm like just as good. And so it's kind of fun
sure.
for me to sit back and watch as these people tarnish their legacies a little bit, and they prove me kind of right. Because like I said, I've always just been like, I think that they got lucky with the cast. Like it's like I think Dan in his second season when he pulled off like Dan's funeral,
Yeah,
he pulled it off with like the weakest cast of Big Brother I've like ever seen. And same thing with Derek. Derek just had a bunch of like not very strategic men that he like got that were very
corralled.
good at
Yeah,
that were very good at winning competitions
yeah,
that he got to like take him to the end. And it's like if Derek had been on my season or Dan had been on my season with me and like a bunch of smarter women, I don't think they would have stood a chance. And so to answer your question, I know I'm like sounding egotistical and kind of annoying, but it's like it is a little bit like vindicating for
yeah.
me
I
to
get it.
watch like it's like I think the show Big Brother for a while I think had a big issue with editing women and gay people.
I agree.
And they if you were a straight white man and you were controlling the game, you were a mastermind. But if you were a woman, you were a bitch, and if you were a gay
Hmm.
guy, they made me invisible. And it's
Right.
just like it was frustrating for me to watch for a while. And so,
Yeah.
like I said, these straight white men who are the face of the show, who I've always thought are a little bit mediocre, like showing that they're kind of like it's like I think that like Brittany and Danielle will show on the Traitors like why they're great, and
I hope so.
I think Derek might tarnish his legacy a little bit, which is what I kind of hope for.
Then there we go. It's all going according to plan. So you mentioned right before we started recording, you aren't super Bravo focused, but you have seen
Sure.
all of Roni,
Yes.
and you said you watched Vanderpump Rules
I've
too.
seen all I'm like
Okay.
Vanderpump is like a top 5 show of all time for me. I'm
Okay.
completely obsessed with it. And
Love.
I've seen
Yeah.
all of Roni. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you were just as excited as the rest of the Bravo fans then that Dorinda was going to be there. And I think like
Yes.
conversely, like I think everyone was kind of excited to see Sandoval
Yeah,
be a clown. He's kind of being
for
a
sure.
clown. It's kind of hilarious
Absolutely.
TV. But we lost Dorinda so early, and I want to know from you what you think about the strategy that was employed in the first couple rounds of focusing on the housewives and trying to get them out. I want to know what you think of that strategy and like
Sure.
whether it was good or bad or whatever.
I mean, I don't think it was great. It's like Dorinda was always going to be like, I think Carolyn was right when she said that Dorinda was always going to be like a shield in front of them. It's like Dorinda is so outspoken that it could have been so easy to peg her later on as someone who's a traitor.
Right.
And so I do not think it was a great move. But I mean, and it proved to, I mean, Bob is out now. And so like
Yeah.
it proved to probably not be that great of a move for him because I also think that Dorinda is someone who like would have bonded with Bob, and like I think the two of them could have gotten along.
She
Same
could
with
have been
Ian.
she could have been his fierce defender.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's just like if I were Bob, I mean, if I'm on the Traitors season 4, I'm telling you, I'm going for the Boston Robs, the Wesses, the Derricks, the like Jeremys, the Tonys. I'm going for like the like straight men. Oh, actually, I don't want to lump Jeremy in there because I actually really love Jeremy.
He's of a different breed a little bit.
But it's like I'm going for these straight men who are not really going to connect with me. And it's just like, I don't know why Bob didn't do that, because I think it would have been very easy for Bob to get along with, like, you heard the housewives all adored him.
Totally.
And it's,
and and I interviewed Chanel Ayan earlier today.
Yeah.
And she really feels in type of way about Bob and she thinks that he kicked her off because of airtime and because he knew that like, because I mean, it's hard not to like see from last season. Like Phaedra got so like she is the mean queen. She got so much airtime. She's obviously a traitor, but like, that is good for your career as a career reality star to like have all those moments. And I could see how like maybe in the back, I kind of think in the back of some of their minds, it's sort of like, well, the housewives know how to bring good TV and entertainment, and they know how to read people really well at a round table. Even if they're incorrect, they can still come at you in that way. You know what I mean? Not necessarily accurately read, but like kind of put you in your place is more what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? And like, so I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that either. So like, I guess from that perspective, I understand it, but it's just but
it's like you got to do like what Sandra did last season. Sandra was like, "Oh, I'm befriending all the housewives." It's like,
I loved that, and teaching them the game via pool balls. Exactly.
If I were on, I would absolutely not. I would befriend the housewives for sure.
When you obviously, when we're on social media but talking about the Traitors, you get exposed to the Bravo fans and the competition fans.
For sure.
Can you like talk to me a little bit about the difference between them and how because I mean, I'm in the Bravo world, and like we're so fiercely protective of these people that like we're like, this is so fucking stupid. Like they're voting out Dorinda and Chanel, and it's
I mean, the ones like I think it's all fun. It's very fun watching like all but the thing when I don't like it is it's a stupid game where people are killing each other. Like stop getting like weird and personal. Like it's just like even like last season, I feel like a lot of Phaedra fans like I love Phaedra and I don't really like Dan, but it's like the hate that Dan got for like for just playing the game. And like coming for Phaedra, it's like, come on. And so I think
it's because we're conditioned because we watch their real lives, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And so it's hard. It's hard.
No, I know. And like I said, but what I'm getting at is I think sometimes Bravo fans can get a little too nasty about it when it's just a stupid game.
I can see
it. That's why I thought it was very funny, and I thought that Bob handled it very well this last week, just like making fun of all the Dorinda fans who were like coming for him. That is how you do it. Like it's just like, point out that these people are acting crazy.
Absolutely. And that gets a little bit also into I think one of the biggest tensions on the Traitors is this sort of like good TV and good gameplay, and those don't always align. For sure. And I'm curious what you think about that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that you are watching especially something like the Traitors. Like it's like a Survivor or a Big Brother. It's like, it's just like mostly, you don't know if the people on it want to be like career reality TV people. So it's like, I understand someone on one of those shows just being like, I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to like win this thing and I'm not going to cause trouble. But it's like for the Traitors, I expect it's like, no, I like the people that are boring. I'm sorry. I want you gone. I want people on the Traitors who are going to make for good TV.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I very much support like a strategy on the Traitors, get rid of the boring people. It's like, you want to create the best TV that you possibly can. And that's why like, I was upset with what happened in this episode, but Boston Rob did make the episode like very entertaining.
Yeah, totally. Do you, sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
No.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Do you think that some of the competition people also are a little bit territorial over the fact that it is a competition and they're going out like Bravo people like don't know what they're doing?
I mean, I think that it's gotta just be like a little frustrating for the competition people to just like be playing with some people. Like, it's like, truly there are some people that you're playing with that you can present the most compelling argument possible. And like, if they just have a weird hunch about you, you're totally fucked. And I think that's what makes the show kind of fun. That like you have these incredibly strategic minds, and then you have these people that just like make for fun TV. And I think the combination of all of that makes like glorious mess. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, of course, of
yeah.
course. Yeah, and it's funny because like I also think that something that the Bravo people, even though some of them aren't the best game players, I think what they really do thrive, I think, at the round table sometimes because
Yes.
that it's kind of like a reunion-ish setting, you know what I mean? Where you like just
Yeah.
have to use your words. And I thought that Sierra, her back was up against the wall in this past episode. She was
Yeah.
like, teetering. And I actually thought that her bringing up the fact that she's a nurse and that was like a really compelling, like really
Yeah.
personal thing to bring up at like the perfect time. And I
Oh,
think
for
that
sure.
that's something that a Bravo person can do well.
Yes, and it's like no, I love that, and I love her, and of course it was after Derek
Yeah.
accuses like a
Right.
woman. It's just like, of course, I like get this man out of here, please. Like it's just completely wrong about a woman, of course. Like
Okay, so if you're looking at it now, who are some of the people whose edits? We talked about Brittany's edit, sort of like
yeah,
she's being shown a little bit, but not that much, which usually means that they'll pop up later a little bit
sure,
more. But not being shown at all is also not the best sign. Like
yeah,
Britney Spears' ex is like
right.
basically never shown.
Or like
Who's
Lord, whatever his name is,
yeah
he's
yeah
never
yeah
shown.
Ivar I
Yes,
whatever
Lord Ivar. There we
he
go. Yeah.
whose edits are like kind of who are you watching in terms of that? Like maybe who isn't super obvious right now, but you could see kind
Um,
of being a
Gabby.
bigger play. Okay,
Like
Gabby.
I think Gabby is getting quite a good edit so far.
Yeah.
Like I said, Brittany, Chriselle, Gabby. I mean, like I feel like Nikki and Sierra both seem like they know what they're doing as well. Like they like I said, like I love Robin and I love Dolores, but it's like I just don't think they know what's going on.
Right.
And so like I just don't think that bodes very. I mean, they actually
They
could
could
be like
make
a,
it far, but they might not be that impactful.
they could be like a charade and make it to the end, but never
Totally.
know what's going on.
Or an MJ.
But I think but I think all the other women that I mentioned like actually like have a pretty good head for everything. Who else? Bob Harper seems like
Yeah.
Bob
Interesting.
Harper seems like he knows what's going on.
And he also got
Um,
that focus in the challenge of like his history with like his heart stuff and
yes,
like
yes,
that's like kind of making it a little bit more endearing to the audience and it's like okay
yeah,
like what's is that gonna
yep.
who
And
knows
out of the three people that they forced upon us in episode 2, I like Wes the most, and so
me
like
too
it seems like, and Wes is smart, and so like I also feel like Wes, at least for right now, seems like he might like Wes seems to have better reads than Derek as a faithful. And I think Wes is smarter than Derek, and so out of the two that are left as faithfuls, I see Wes potentially doing better.
yeah and after they banished Bob there was like a couple minutes after and they showed Wes basically
Yes.
talking to Sandoval and he was
Yep.
Sandoval and Chriselle and he was like how is he so sure that Bob is a
Yes.
traitor? The only way is if you are also a traitor. And
I
like
mean,
that is planting the seed for him to take out the giant.
like anybody on this show who knows CBS reality at all should be like, oh, Boston Rob is definitely
Exactly.
a traitor.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
if I were on this season, I would just be like, please, like come on,
Next
yeah,
question. Exactly.
yes,
Exactly. You mentioned actually before we get to the rules overall about the traders, I think one of my and I'm loving this season, but I think one of the things that I'm feeling is missing from it is like I'm not fully rooting for the traders. Like I'm not
sure,
pulling for them in a way. And maybe that's because I'm more conditioned to be a Bravo person, but I also just feel like if they had chosen Brittany, I think it would have felt differently just in terms of how they're playing it. And I feel like one of the best tensions as a viewer of the traders is to like feel conflicted over like whether to root for the traders to get
yeah,
people out and to stick around or to root for the faithfuls to root out the traders
sure,
at the round table. And I don't right now I'm kind of like fully rooting for the faithfuls right now. And so
okay.
that's why it's like I want them to recruit somebody really good who kind of I would root for as a trader.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Like, do
Yeah.
we so yet again, I guess like man, the rules are so fast and loose. Do we know or do they for sure recruit someone now that because I mean there are already
I don't. I
three
mean,
there.
no. Well, this is where the producers can do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
You know
Because
what I mean?
what I think is I think they will not recruit anyone now. And I think if we lose
They'll
another
wait.
one, they will then recruit.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard. That's also what's hard is that the rules are fast and loose. It's like
Right.
it's
I mean,
like
last season they brought Kate in like 10 weeks in. It's just like,
yes. Oh
what
my
are we
god. And
doing?
then she became a
Like,
traitor.
no, when Kate was the last trader standing, that's when I was like, and I love Kate. That's when I was like I was like, if she wins, this is total bullshit. Like she sat out the first like 6 weeks. Like, come on.
Yeah, and she also, I remember at the end there, she basically threw in the towel at the end. Like
Yes,
she
yes.
went with whatever, I forget exactly what the situation was, but she confirmed that to me. She was like, "Yeah, like
Right.
I was trying to basically like tell them that I would like give it to them.
Yes.
I handed them a
Yes.
silver platter, and they still MJ still didn't get to win. So,
Yeah.
oh my God. Okay, so speaking of rules and
Yeah.
being a little malleable with them, you said that there are some things that you would change about the show and the game. What would you change? What do
Oh
you think would
God.
make it a better game?
I don't know. I think I just I think I just have a lot of shit to say without an actual plan to back it up.
Okay, but like
Um,
there has to be some stuff that you see and you're like,
I
mm,
mean, I think that the game is just vastly for the first like half of it at least, it vastly favors the traders. It's just
yeah,
like and I don't really even know how to fix that, but it's just like the fact that they can like usually one of them will get replaced. I mean, now we've never had four before, but it's like before they would like they got to choose someone to recruit, they got to replace someone. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. It's just like there has to be like and I also think that like there is no incentive for like keeping traders like I feel like there are certain people who like are just they might know who the traders are and they just want to keep them around because they're like aligned with does that make sense? And
yeah.
there's no like penalty for being incorrect all the time or like for you know like and I know some people have talked about that a little bit online,
Right.
but I don't really know how you modify that either though really.
I
So
know. I know. The other thing that I think about is that like I feel like there is something in the fact that like the traders basically have no incentive to like throw a challenge or
right.
like it's like I almost feel like they could take a page from the mole a little bit just to like have it almost be not maybe not a separate prize pot, but just somehow impact how much money the faithfuls can get. So it because that
Yeah,
way it makes it so the faithfuls can sniff some weird behavior
right.
out like in a
Well,
challenge. You know what I mean?
and one thing I will say about challenges that I feel like the show did fix this season is like I used to think that I used to like if I had a lot going on, I would like fast forward through the
Yeah,
challenges.
me too. They're
I
so
was like, who cares?
inconsequential. Yeah.
Now at least like they have the added element where like people are getting shields and people are like
Yeah.
keeping themselves safe. I still think the challenges are boring, but I like that they at least fix
I
that a
agree.
little
Yeah,
bit. Does that
the
make sense?
shields do
Like,
add a layer to it for sure.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was so interesting watching in this past episode, like how and Alan pointed it out. He was like almost everybody who got a shield in that challenge, and there were 10 shields. I
Right.
think eight of them were men.
Right.
It was
Right.
just like, and I'm just like, I if it gets like halfway through and it's like all, as you said,
I
straight white men,
know.
I'm just
That's
like, what the fuck? That
my
is like my
worst fear,
nightmare, my
truly. Yes,
literal nightmare.
absolutely.
I would like pay for Dorinda's ticket back to Scotland or
No, I
like
mean,
Phaedra's
like,
ticket. Like, come on.
as I said, just like I loved this cast, and then at the end of I was just like, my God, this could not be worse for like how I like the players, the types of players that I like to see.
Yeah.
We are getting three that I don't like, and three that like are notorious for like steamrolling airtime. And it like I said, I at least I'm really shitting on Derek, but like
Whatever.
I at least think that Wes and Boston Rob like are entertaining. I genuinely like don't find Derek entertaining, and so it's just like, why this? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and I was talking to two of my friends who are really big Survivor people. They don't watch Big Brother, and they were like, "Can you explain to Derek to me, because
right?
people have heard of West, they have heard of Boston Rob, even if you're
Yes,
not like part of that lore. Like Derek, I don't. I mean, in Big Brother, he's huge, but I feel like he doesn't have that sort of universal notoriety. I guess you know what I mean. And so,
no, absolutely
uh,
not. And just like I'm over, like it's just like I think like he's so transparent. Like in the challenge, him just being like, I'm gonna do everything I can to like help everyone. And it's just like I feel like he's like I think his tricks are like so obvious, and it's just like surprising to me that more people don't see it.
mhm.
Yeah, and like I said at the round table, just being like loud and wrong, and just he's gonna go after women. It's just not it's a no for me,
Yeah,
and it
get him out.
and it always has been. And like I said, just like
It's a no for me, dog.
being entrenched in like the Big Brother world, just like having to sit back as so many people are like he's the best. I'm like what really hurts me and like what's the basis of like all of my animosity is I think if you ask the average Big Brother fan like who would be more fun to hang out with, they would like say Derek over me, and that genuinely kills me.
Oh, that's
I
tough,
know,
and that's not accurate.
it really is tough. It is such a hit to my ego for sure.
You know, again, I think that your master vision of like one by one the acclaimed
Right, they're
winners
all
can just
falling.
show their
Yes.
asses, you know what I mean? Like um to round it out a little bit, who from obviously you, but other than you from the Big Brother world, who would you cast on the Traitors? Who would you like to see
Oh
um
my God. I mean,
take a
like I
swing at
said,
it?
we really have like gotten some, like, it's like I would have chosen Brittany and Danielle. And so like
Janelle.
that's amazing. I would have chosen Janelle, amazing casting. Um, Vanessa from 17, I think, like the
Oh
poker player
yeah.
who was
Uh-huh.
super emotional and just like
Right.
I think she created amazing TV. Tiffany Mitchell from Big Brother 23,
Oh,
like
I
the
love
like
Tiffany.
love her. Like give me like give me a woman with an opinion. That is like what I
Yes.
like.
Period.
And so that, like, I'm trying to think of like other like
I'd like to
like
see Taylor on there. I'd like to see
oh my
Taylor.
god, oh my
Yeah.
god, of course Taylor, yes, absolutely. Like put me, like, it's like I think maybe I would be put on the Traitors 71, but it's just like if I in any world like got to play with Taylor, I would be like, so we're taking out the men, right? Like please,
Beyond.
yes.
Next
And I know
question.
that she would be down.
Yeah.
Yes, and so like all of those are good. Yeah, I like Josh Martinez, I think would be
Oh
so
yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah. He'd be
Um,
wild on
I
there.
think, I love him. Like, talk about someone who makes good TV. Like he is like a big name among men on Big Brother who I think is like not boring.
Right.
And so I would love to see
You
him.
know who
Yeah.
else I'd love to see? Either what's her name, Angela from this past
Oh my
season,
God. Yes.
or the season before was Mama Fee.
Oh my God, Felicia. Yes, absolutely. Give me an older woman. Yes, like that is like
Beyond.
my favorite archetype from
Yes.
Big Brother. I think there are like a lot that would be good, but it's just like you never know. Like I said, it's like I really do think all of the Big Brother choices so far, Sans, Derek, and Cody, have been good.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're 4 episodes in. Things are gonna switch up. But if you were to take a wild guess right now, who's winning?
I mean, I feel like I'm sounding like this is a basic take, but Carolyn, like it's just like I just Carolyn's big thing is that she always, even on her season of Survivor, if you saw it, like
Yeah.
she is underestimated. And I mean, she is kooky, but she's also got a good head for everything and she's smart. And so if she can keep up what she's doing, then I think that she is going to continue to be underestimated. I worry that like the Traitors might like throw her to the fire
I
later,
know.
but like
Well,
that
so
is
they got that's what they got to get Boston Rob out first because
right.
he's the one that's going to do that. Like
Absolutely.
I
Like,
feel
could you
like Danielle
imagine
was
Yeah.
Trader strong. I feel like she
Yes.
would. Yeah.
Well, and Boston Rob wanting to work with women, could you imagine? My God, like not going to happen. And so it's just like I for sure would love to see Carolyn win. I mean, I Brittany is like my actual
It would
friend,
be
and
really
so like
satisfying to see Brittany win. It would.
yes, I'm going to completely biasedly always vote for my friends, and it's like Brittany is my friend. I love her, and so it would be very exciting to see her win. I mean, I'm rooting for like all the people.
Yeah.
It's like I'm rooting for Chriselle, I'm rooting for Gabby,
The
I'm rooting for
Bambies.
Brittany, but
Uh-huh.
I'm rooting for. I like Danielle and I like Carolyn as well. So like give me a woman winner and I'll be happy.
Yeah, of course. So you and Brittany are friends.
Yes.
Did you try to pry anything out of her? Or
I mean,
are you like, because I don't like spoilers, but
no,
I'd be
I
so
don't.
tempted to ask.
She told me yesterday. She prepped me. She was like, "This episode is going to be really good," and so I knew going into it that it
Okay.
would be good. It's funny, like for the couple weeks before it premiered, I would like text her about it, and she was just like, "Thank God you text me," because she was like, "Nobody else is asking me about it, and I feel like I have no friends."
Oh my
And
God.
so
They probably just know that they'll get nothing out of her.
right. And so no, she like, and yet again, I'll get like a voice memo from her that'll just be like funny, like a little bit of like a funny tidbit from behind the scenes. That's always like her
Love.
usual like style of humor that always makes me laugh. But yes, of course, I am rooting for her. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you brought up her confessionals because her Big Brother confessionals were so good, and we haven't
so
gotten that
good.
yet in the Traitors
Yes.
from her, and
Right.
they have to be coming. They have to be. I have faith. I have faith.
Absolutely. I really do
Yeah.
too. And it's like, I think as we get down to it, I think like as more and more people, I think she will be very funny at dragging people who have bad reads. Cause
Yes.
I think that she probably has pretty good reads. And so she will know when someone doesn't have a good one. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I would have loved to see her read Derek, to be honest. That would now
Yes. And you know
that
what? I feel like it might be coming. I just
Okay.
like,
All
yeah,
right. I'm excited for that.
yeah.
Well, Andy, this has been so much fun. Again,
Oh my God, yeah.
I really love the Bravo and competition brains when they
Yes,
collide,
I
and
love it
especially on
too.
this
Yeah.
show this season. So, I really appreciate you coming on. We'll do it again
Yeah.
soon sometime.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me. I appreciate being here.
I want to gab.